Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Palm Blisters, where this week talking about movie adaptations and
That's
for
right.
video games.
Yep.
Right.
That is correct.
Now, have you guys watched like a lot of like movie adaptations? Like, is that like
I've seen a handful.
I've
Like-
seen a bunch.
it's funny. The other day, do you guys know the Borderlands series?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that trailer
Borderlands.
just came out.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite like video games of all. Well, like the series, I love the series. The second one's my favorite, but yeah, the trailer, like you saw, it came out. They're making a movie for Borderlands, but I was so disappointed.
That's
Like
what I heard. I mean,
I have
Yeah.
not seen the trailer. I didn't even know that was a thing.
it just released the other day. The movie's been in the works for the past few years apparently, but they have like Kevin Hart as Roland, and they have
Roland.
they have
Supposed to be like a big buff, like mercenary guy.
yeah
and
yeah
Kevin Hart
very
is,
serious
half-
too.
and half of Kevin Hart's humor is that he's
Sure.
a small guy that you can't take seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a big thing with video game movies is the casting's always off.
It is.
Yeah.
It always is. I
Like,
mean,
Tom Holland as Nathan Drake.
Yeah, I did
Tom
not
Holland
like
is
that.
cute. Nathan Drake is sexy.
Exactly. Also, Mark Wahlberg as Sully for that movie.
I mean, if they wanted to do a young Sully, I guess.
a
maybe,
young
but-
Sully, I think that would have worked.
Sully
But
has a mustache. He didn't have a mustache in that
Ah.
movie.
You
And I
can't
know
get
like
rid of
it's
a
not
guy's
all about
mustache.
looks,
Yeah.
but Sully's character needs a mustache. I'm sorry.
You're
No,
right.
that's
You're
true.
right.
No,
That's
I
one of those
agree.
things you don't get rid of.
Yeah.
but yeah, no.
I think like George Clooney would have made a great Sully, in my opinion.
That's interesting.
George Clooney.
you know that I could actually
I
see
can
it.
see that.
Yeah, as long as he just grows out a mustache, you know. I
Uncharted.
think.
The character again. Uncharted. The characters are supposed to be sexy, not cute.
Right.
100%.
Yes.
And well, Mark Wahlberg is neither.
Yeah.
That's debatable.
Subjective.
Yeah.
Beauty is subjective. But yeah, back to the whole Borderlands. Like, I was just so disappointed because, like, we were saying, like, Roland, like, he's supposed to be like a very tough character, very serious, and then you have someone like Kevin Hart, who is the least serious person and a very funny guy, and he's playing as Roland, and I'm like a little disappointed. And then like Claptrap, you have Jack Black as voicing Claptrap, and if you don't know who Claptrap is, it's like a little funny robot who makes jokes all the time, but like he has a little bit more of a higher pitched voice.
Also,
Jack Black is like he has a very
Guttural.
raspy,
It's-
like
yeah.
gritty kind of voice.
Yeah.
So I was like, it just doesn't work well, in my opinion. I just
it's
Yeah, no,
all
I get
like
that.
Claptrap is like an annoying guy who doesn't have friends.
yes,
Jack
exactly.
Black is an annoying guy who, when he plays an annoying guy, he plays an annoying guy who has a very active social life you never see.
Yeah.
Like in
He's
High
very
Fidelity.
lovable.
Exactly.
Like High Fidelity, that's the kind of annoying person he can play.
Yeah.
Where it's like, 'cause there's a lot more to him, but Claptrap is just sad.
Yeah, I see what
No,
you're saying. Definitely.
that reminds me. There's a mission. Have you guys played Borderlands
I
at all?
played a bit
I
of the
played.
first one.
I played maybe the second one.
The second
years
one
and
was the
years
best.
ago, I like vaguely remember it.
The second one's by far my favorite. I think it's the best. But there's this mission in the game where Claptrap has a birthday party, and like you said, like how he doesn't have like friends. Like he's supposed to be like an annoying character and that no one really likes, but he's just a loyal companion. He throws a birthday party for himself, and he orders like all this like pizza and everything, and the whole mission is for you to send out invites to everyone, and everyone's like, I'm not going to that. And it's literally just him just dancing by himself. I'm like, dang, I kind of feel bad for him. And like he
Yeah.
like blows like a little like horn and is like, yay. It's like- and then as soon as you like finish the mission, he's like, that was the best birthday ever. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
yeah.
It's funny though.
It is funny, but yeah. I mean, is there any like adaptations of movies that you guys were think like it was like perfect, or like not necessarily movies, even shows? Because I know one that comes to mind.
We were talking about Super Mario Bros. Movie before we started recording, and I really
That's true.
Just talking about that,
Yeah.
and I think that was really well done. We were just saying like the casting was really good, besides Chris
Yeah.
Pratt, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was definitely a very stacked cast, like very like everyone like. I mean, we mentioned like Charlie Day had like a great Luigi, like
Yeah.
it was perfect.
Jack Black as Bowser was perfect.
Was perfect. It was
my
perfect.
opinion,
And then you had it was a
yeah. Peach was Anya Taylor.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong.
Seth
is funny.
Rogen, Donkey
yeah.
Kong.
That's funny.
I I like Seth Rogen, and I feel like his voice translates well to like animated stuff. Like
He's got a funny voice, which is
he does.
he's got a good voice. Yeah.
And his laugh is iconic.
Oh, it's great.
If they give Donkey Kong a movie, who do you think is going to be play Diddy?
Oh,
Back in the day, I would have said James Franco,
Yeah,
but not anymore.
Yeah, 10 years ago, James Franco would have been it because he is Seth Rogen's Diddy Kong, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Trying to think who else.
Jonah Hill, maybe?
Jonah Hill, yeah. I could see
Jonah
that.
Hill. Could-
Yeah.
That would be pretty funny.
Oh,
Jonah Hill
actually,
could-
what's his name?
McLovin?
Oh, McLovin.
I wasn't thinking of McLovin. I was thinking of Jay from This Is the End. Jay
Oh,
Baruchel.
you're right.
Yeah.
That's his real. That's
That's
Rogen's
like his real
big
buddy,
bro.
like in
Yeah.
real life. But
I
I could see Jonah Hill or McLovin.
I could
Maybe,
see
you
that.
know, maybe Jonah Hill would be like Lanky Kong or something.
What's
Or,
McLovin's actual name? Like the
Christopher
Mintz-Plasse.
Christopher something.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Mintz-
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Or Michael Cera. I could see that too.
Michael
Now
Cera-
I'm just naming the whole super.
Yeah, oh, super bad. Yeah.
We're just talking about Seth Rogen's friends at this point.
Yeah, the iconic crew.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, like a great adaptation. I think we touched about like on another episode. But The Last of Us adaptation.
Yeah.
The
I
HBO
knew
series?
that's what was going to be.
Yeah,
with it.
that was like
great.
it was. I mean, I didn't finish all of it, but I mean, I played the game, so I knew what was happening. But I watched like maybe like the first 5 or 6 episodes, and I was like, wow, this is like almost like a 1-for-1 adaptation. Like obviously with like their own like cinematic elements like that kind of enhanced it. Like I loved like spoilers, but I loved like the whole episode with like Bill and like
Bill
his
and Frank,
backstory.
that
Yeah,
was- I really liked seeing that because in the game you didn't really learn much about Bill and why he was the way he was,
yeah,
and they really expanded upon that.
yeah. Which I
and
thought
like
was
his whole love
brilliant.
story with Frank, that was
Yeah.
like honestly that episode made me cry.
No,
Like,
it was so sad.
It was a tearjerker.
I
Yeah.
like when adaptations do that. They give more than just trying to simplify it. Like
Yeah.
they find new avenues to explore rather than just trying to shorten everything to fit in a movie for.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think that a game like The Last of Us really adapts well to TV because it's such a story-driven game.
True.
And like even how they name it, like part 1 and part 2, like it's a continuation
Yeah.
that really could translate well to a series like it is on HBO.
Yeah.
And also another aspect that makes it so good is the director of the games, Neil Druckmann, works on the show as well. Like he's a
Yeah.
co-director
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
show. So
Which
I think that's part of the reason why it worked so well.
I think that's very important when it comes to adaptations. Like, I feel like you need the original director, like the game designer or director.
The original creative visionary.
Yes, exactly. So you know where, it's going.
Look at
I was thinking, as soon as you said that, like a visionary, that's why I'm like really excited about the one game we've talked about a few times, OD, for Hideo Kojima.
yeah.
I cannot
with-
wait for that.
With Jordan Peele.
I like Hideo Kojima. I know I have to give Death Stranding a second chance, but I want to wait to see an actual trailer for the game, not that weird teaser. Like
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because that was like all CGI. Like
It was.
I want to see some gameplay.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's probably going to be more story focused with Jordan Peele working on it as well. But I do want to see some gameplay behind it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have good gameplay because Kojima, a point of criticism for a lot of game devs who want to make like really cinematic stuff is they put way too much into thematic stuff. But Hideo Kojima, I feel like he is like someone who knows how to make games. Like,
Well, yeah, with like
Oh,
Metal
for
Gear
sure.
Solid and everything.
Yeah, Metal
I
Gear
will
Solid.
say I wasn't a huge fan of the gameplay in Death Stranding.
yeah,
Yeah,
that,
it's the same.
I thought it was a little boring. In my
Walking
opinion.
simulator.
Yeah. It's like you play like a UPS.
Yeah, you basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear it gets better as it goes on. That's why I want to give it a second chance because you have to like. It's about like it's not just walking; it's delivering stuff, like
Yeah.
figuring out how you're
Yeah.
gonna navigate the terrain, which sounds interesting.
I
But
do want to give it another chance. I played maybe 3 hours of it and was like, it's not for me.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Hollywood still hasn't gone on trying to make a Metal Gear Solid adaptation.
I'm surprised.
Another
it hasn't happened.
another trying to, but it hasn't really gone anywhere.
Oh, really?
Because Metal Gear Solid is such a story-driven
It is.
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like
especially
it,
Metal Gear Solid 4. Those were some of the longest cutscenes
Oh
in
my
like
god,
any game.
the cutscene had checkpoints.
Yeah.
The cutscene had checkpoints. I remember I beat that game and then I just sat down for like an hour and a half. I made a bowl of popcorn just to watch the last cutscene of that game.
Yeah. For
Yeah.
real.
No, I think that would be a fantastic adaptation. I just don't. Who do you think would play Snake?
Ooh,
That's tough.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt isn't grizzled enough to be Snake, I think.
He can be though. Like, have you watched
You know, you're right. He's
California?
I don't know. But
From
I
the
know
90s?
Austin.
Oh my god, he
I
was
know-
such like a badass in
Right.
that. Like
I
not
know-
like
I've-
crazy badass though. Like he was like psychotic in that movie.
I briefly forgot, like, Brad Pitt, when he's not just playing a Hollywood sexy lead, he's actually a very good
He
character
made
actor.
so many good movies in the 90s. Like so
Glorious
many iconic
Bastards.
roles
Glorious Bastards.
with like Fight Club, California, what I just
Yeah,
said,
Seven.
what is it, 12 Monkeys with him and Bruce Willis. He was great in that movie if you haven't
Oh,
watched that.
what was wasn't he also in Bullet Train? Like that?
Bullet
Oh,
Train.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, he's
Bullet
great
Train
in Bullet
was-
Train.
Yeah,
Awesome.
That
he
was
was
a great
funny in that too.
yeah, he was.
Everyone
Yeah,
was funny in that movie.
Yeah.
that
I
was.
I love how like throughout the movie he was like talking about like therapy and like how he's
Yeah.
like trying to get better.
Yeah.
I thought that was
And he's
great.
trying to give, like, advice to all the other people when they're fighting.
Honestly, I could see Brad Pitt being a good Snake now. Now that we're
I'm-
bringing up all of his.
Who'd be
I'm a
Otacon?
Brad Pitt fanboy, I'm not gonna lie.
I also want to ask, who would be Otacon?
Ooh.
Ooh,
Jay Baruchel, just throwing his name back in there.
Yeah, I could see that.
I could definitely see that.
He's got that sort of, like, skinny guy,
Mhm.
kind of meek,
I'm
But he's
picturing him in
but
like
he al-
Tropic Thunder.
but he could somehow pull if he wanted to, if he really tried.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have you seen Tropic Thunder?
Oh, of course
Like
I think so.
him in Tropic Thunder, I'm picturing like
Yeah.
that kind of character.
Yeah. He's like the only normal person there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what are some other really good or bad adaptations?
I would say I just watched recently the first Sonic movie.
First Sonic.
Oh, you guys were talking about how bad that was, right?
I
or was it good?
It was acceptable, but the second movie was better because they actually had more Sonic characters in it.
Okay.
yeah.
I
I
haven't
think
seen either.
I think
so-
Sonic's character design was perfect in the movie, and Egghead at the very end.
I mean, I liked Sonic in that movie, but in those movies, it kind of just feels like it's Ben Schwartz being Ben Schwartz. That's my opinion. It works well enough, but
Yeah.
I liked Idris Elba as Knuckles, though. That was great.
Oh yeah, he's great in everything.
Yeah.
I never watched the Sonic movie, but I do remember like the controversy
Oh,
around
I
it when it first came
remember.
out
Yeah.
of his design. Like he looked like a little rat, and everyone was like, "What is this? Like, what are you doing to Sonic?"
Why?
And then
Who
they-
thought that was a good idea?
I remember that too, and I was thinking the same thing. Why would they make his character look like that?
Yeah, like it was like creepy looking. Like he did look like a disheveled rat.
Yeah, like a drowned rat. Like
Yeah,
With realistic human teeth.
yeah. It was just disgusting.
How was Jim Carrey in that movie?
Fun.
Okay,
He was great in it.
because I'm a big Jim Carrey guy.
Yeah,
so-
Jim Carrey. I feel like he's great in everything. I can't think of anything he was poor in. You know.
yeah.
But yeah. Now, is there any? Because we're talking about like video games
I mean-
into movies. How about movies into like video games?
I kind of want to go on Sonic just a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited because they're doing the third movie, which is going to have Shadow.
Oh, okay.
And
That'll
do
be
you guys know the backstory for Shadow the Hedgehog?
no.
No, could you explain?
Yeah, he was a biological creation on this space station called the Space Colony Ark, created by Dr. Eggman's grandfather, Gerald Robotnik. And he befriended Gerald Robotnik's granddaughter, Maria, who stayed on the Space Colony Ark because she basically had that Bubble Boy thing where if she was just outside, she would die in like 5 minutes from all the disease and stuff in her body.
Yeah.
Right.
So no, they had a close friendship, but I guess on the Space Colony Ark, they were developing some very unethical weaponry or whatever. So the U.S. government sent a special unit called Gun up there to basically wipe it all out. And Maria wanted Shadow to still live, so she got him to like a sort of escape capsule. And as she did that, like when she was at the control panel, she was gunned down, and Shadow the Hedgehog saw that. And I'm not making that up. This is actual Sonic the Hedgehog lore.
I could see that
So-
adapting really well
Is-
to a
I
movie.
know, so
Actually,
people are like really
Now-
excited to see
yeah.
that actually on the big screen, just because it's like they have to. Because I think it's just everyone think it's really funny that to do the character right, they actually have to put that in a movie called Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to watch that.
Who-
That sounds awesome.
Wait, who's gonna be the voice actor for?
We don't know yet.
I don't know yet.
Oh, okay. Because I feel like it's got to be.
Maybe there's.
I feel like it's got to be someone like edgy, like
Robert
you know.
Pattinson is been one of the people
I
having the
could see
ring.
that.
I could see
I'd
that.
say-
Especially after seeing him as Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what else was
I
Lighthouse? He was good in
Oh,
that.
I like
yeah.
Lighthouse. Yeah. What was that other movie he was in with Willem? He did another movie with Willem Dafoe.
Is that the one where he like robbed a bank and was kind of like?
Oh wait,
like-
no, Born in Haran. I forgot.
Okay. What am I thinking of? I'm thinking of something else. Oops. Bang my mic.
But on a different note, what I was gonna ask was, like, you know, we're talking about like video games and movies.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like vice versa, video games into or movies into video games, I feel like are notorious for being pretty bad.
Oh,
Yeah. What about Tron? Do you guys remember Tron?
I
Because
remember.
Yeah.
Tron was
That was
a
a good
movie
movie.
first.
Then they made
About a video game, but then they made a game for it. And I remember playing that game on PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's just because I was super young. I was probably like 12 when I played it.
Yeah.
But I loved it.
Oh,
I
really?
thought it was like
Yeah.
really fun.
Um,
But going back and playing it now, I'd probably be like,
Like,
this is
what is
terrible.
this?
I like Bike It Works. I think it's a fun
Yeah.
enough premise.
It's very fun gameplay. Like riding around on the bike was
mhm.
a lot of fun. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like any like game that stands out that was like actually like really
Lego
good.
Star Wars. Lego Star Wars.
Ooh.
I didn't even think of that. I did not
Oh.
consider that in the
Oh,
slightest.
the Batman Arkham series.
Oh, Batman Arkham.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
was
Jeez.
I was thinking of
Yeah.
that, but he said movies to video games, so
Well, that's
Yeah,
comic,
movies to video-
I guess.
Yeah.
But
but
Arkham-
still,
yeah.
I would say I'd count it.
Arkham games are so good.
They are,
Because you know what's funny? Like, I think just like in my head, like I didn't realize like how much they're like Batman and Lego Star Wars. Because like
Oh, Indiana Jones.
Oh,
yeah.
Lego Indiana Jones.
The
Yeah.
second Lego, like the second in that line of
Yeah.
Lego games.
Yeah.
all the Lego games are just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like none of them were bad. Especially the Star Wars series was fantastic.
It's such
Yeah,
a
Lego
solid
Star Wars
formula.
is great.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars Complete Saga. I played that so much when I was
Oh,
a kid.
yeah. I mean, who
Yeah.
didn't? It was so much fun, so much
think
nostalgia just
I
thinking
want
about
to
it.
go back and play those games because I haven't played them since I was probably 13 or 14.
Yeah,
I replayed them a bit. They're still pretty fun, but
if I were to go back, I'd like try to do like everything and like 100% it. You
I
know,
mean, those
like-
are
So
easy
I
games
have-
to 100%.
I have
Yeah.
a couple buddies that just went back and 100%ed Lego Batman, or not Lego Batman, Lego Star Wars, the complete trilogy.
oh, nice.
Yeah, they did it on stream. They did it on Twitch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
When I was little, on Lego Star Wars 2, my brother got 100%, and I accidentally deleted a save file, and he still hasn't forgiven me.
But back to like the whole thing. I feel like a lot, especially with movies going into video games. The second the video game, they in the title they put the game. I feel like you're just like, this is gonna be the worst game
If you
ever.
have to clarify,
That it's the
like,
game.
it's-
You know,
Yeah.
I actually heard that this was pretty good. It was apparently a game that actually was really good was Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
Yeah.
That's like the full name of the game.
The official game of the movie.
I have never heard of that.
I haven't heard
Me
of it
neither.
either, but I heard
But-
it's pretty good. It's like split into an FPS where you play one of the soldier guys, and then a game that's like a beat 'em up where you play as King Kong.
That sounds fun. I can get
Although
into
I
I think
did,
it's on Steam.
that.
yeah. I forget. Did the new Avatar game that came out, is that called the game?
It's I think it's like Avatar: Frontiers of
Yeah.
Pandora.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
gotcha.
you're right, yeah.
Because yeah, I know that was an adaptation of a movie, and it got a lot of praise. Have you guys ever played like the Far Cry series?
Yeah.
I played a little
I played
of
a
it.
bit of Far Cry 4.
Far Cry 4 was good.
Yeah. But from what I've heard, is like it's basically just Far Cry, but like Avatar themed. Which I'm like, and I looked at gameplay. I'm like, it actually looks fun. Like the mechanics look fun and everything.
That
Like,
sounds good because I like the Avatar movies.
exactly, yeah. But just like like flying around on whatever they're called.
And those movies, I could definitely see translating really well to video games because, like, how you were saying, like they fly around. On
Yeah.
Yeah.
things.
No, yeah. There was. It seems like there's a lot to do. I mean, because
Are they
I think it
open
is
world,
a
you know?
what?
Are they open world?
Yeah, I believe it's open world. Yeah. So like I said, like it's a very similar style to like Far Cry. Like how it's like an open world.
Yep.
There's like camps you have to take out. Obviously some story and side missions. But yeah, it's literally just Avatar themed. I was actually considering buying it, but I'm like, I don't have the money. I don't have
one-
money for video games these
One
days.
adaptation. Yeah, I feel that. Same here. Like
Yeah.
I barely have time to play video games now too. But one adaptation I just thought of was Assassin's Creed, the movie.
Oh
Did you guys
yeah.
watch that?
I never watched the
No.
movie.
It was really good, actually. At least I thought it was really good. A lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was really neat. And it went a lot into like kind of like the psychology behind it.
Yeah,
all that. Like the first couple games did. Almost. And like it followed the story really well. I thought it was neat.
The early Avatar, or not Avatar, Assassin's Creed games were fantastic. I know they still pump
I
out.
stopped. Honestly, the last one I played was Black Flag.
That's the best one.
Yeah, I think
that
that
is
was
the
the
best
best
one.
That's what I was.
That was the last
really
really good one.
Yeah.
So.
I love the theme of pirates. Like that's just like my go-to.
Yeah.
Like I remember when Sea of Thieves came out, I was like, I'm gonna buy it. Like, bought it first day, and I kept playing it, and I was like, there's nothing. Well, like Sea of Thieves, like it's an interesting concept, but the thing is, it's like you grind for like, treasure or like camps and stuff like that. But your currency just goes to cosmetics. It's not like for like upgrading like equip. Like I thought like I could get better guns or like upgrade my ship where like it could do more stuff. But it was just like, no, you can make your guy look cooler with all this money though. I'm like, it's not my kind of style.
You know what would make a cool adaptation? Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. No,
Has it ever
absolutely.
been
That'd be
done?
good.
I don't think so.
I'm sure there's the game out there.
There's Lego Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, is there?
Oh, there is. Yeah,
Which
there
did
is.
it was the first 4 movies.
I
in
had that.
Lego
I
form.
need to play that because
Yeah.
I used to. Well, I still love them, but as a kid, those were legit my favorite movies. Like I dressed up as Jack Sparrow,
Captain Jack.
Captain
Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. Excuse me. Like 4 years in a row. For
Nice.
Halloween.
Yeah.
That was like by far my favorite movie.
He's got
Yeah.
like
That
one
and
of my
King Kong as a kid.
King Kong.
Captain Jack Sparrow. He has got like one of my favorite introductory scenes in any movie ever when he's sailing into port, like bailing out his boat. Then he like sees the hanging corpses, takes his hat off and out to honor them. And then when you see him come into port, he's just standing on the top of his ship because it sinks right when he steps onto the dock. Like,
Yeah.
That's what.
it's like a perfect scene to just tell you everything about this
No
character.
one can play that character besides Johnny Depp. Like
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one could.
And it's crazy watching Pirates of the Caribbean with Johnny Depp because like you see him in that movie like as like just a drunk pirate whatnot, but then you see him in like other movies where he's like a totally different character, and I'm
He's
like,
got
that's
range.
Johnny Depp.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does.
He's a good like character actor.
Like you see
Exactly.
Willy Wonka and then like a bunch of other movies. Like I'm
You
just
never
like,
really recognize him when you see him either. You have
no.
What's that one movie where he plays like a heavy set older guy? I never watched it, but I remember seeing the trailer for it and being like,
I don't know what
that's
that one is.
Johnny Depp. Because he was unrecognizable with all the makeup and like
Yeah.
hockey suit on and everything.
I'm trying to think. I forget, but yeah, no, it is like I feel like each role he plays, yeah, he is like almost unrecognizable. Like it's crazy because I know him like when I see Johnny Depp, I'm like Captain Jack Sparrow.
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just like my go-to. Like that's
Same,
what I
'cause
match
that's,
him
like,
with.
That was my introduction to him.
Yeah, me too. And then I saw like Willy Wonka, like the newer one. Well, not the newest one. Now
Yeah,
there's
the
a
one with
newest one.
Timothy
Timothy Chalamet.
I haven't watched that yet.
Neither have
Me
I.
neither.
I haven't. I heard
heard it
mixed
was
reviews
okay.
on it. I heard like it was entertaining, but like
Not
people
like an
are
amazing story or anything.
Yeah.
Nothing like super original.
no.
But yeah, I heard Timothy Chalamet did okay. But
Yeah.
I really liked Johnny Depp's. And then of course I loved. I'm sorry, what's his name? Gene Wilder's.
Gene Wilder. Yeah.
Yeah, he was an amazing Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Well, Roald Dahl hated him in the role.
Really?
Really? Wait, Johnny Depp or
Gene Wilder.
Oh,
Roald Dahl, I'm pretty sure Roald Dahl was dead when they made the 2005 one.
I thought Gene Wilder was amazing.
He was
but-
great.
No, I
but
thought he was
sometimes the author doesn't like adaptions, like The Shining. Shining, great movie, amazing movie. Stephen King hated it, and it's like he likes Stanley Kubrick movies.
Right.
He just didn't like
I
that
thought The
one.
Shining was awesome.
I know it's a great
Yeah.
movie, but
Shine's good.
Stephen King didn't like it.
I wonder why.
It was because I think
Did it
Jack.
just not follow the book that well? I never. read
believe
the
it was
book, so-
because in the book Jack Torrance is a little more sympathetic, where it's like you could tell he was driven mad by the hotel, whereas in the movie he's already sort of mad, and the hotel just he's just kind of restraining himself, and the movie in the hotel tells him to let go, whereas in the book again, he becomes that. Am I making sense here?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're saying like, did he change more in the book? You're saying, or
Yeah, it was a more gradual development in the
gradual.
book.
Gotcha.
I wonder
Yeah,
if
because in the movie it is kind of abrupt, like an abrupt change in him. But It's a movie. So.
Yeah. I wonder if like art like authors or like director anyone like that makes the original piece and then they make an adaptation off of it, have like any say in like who should be casted and like in movie or like the movie show, whatever.
I feel like they should have a say.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because I feel like they have the vision of the character, and like
They
if
do.
they know,
Well, Hideo Kojima, he always wanted like a big Hollywood star to play Solid Snake or Big
Oh,
Boss.
You know,
And
okay.
then he for the last game, Metal Gear Solid 5, he got rid of David Hayter for Kiefer Sutherland, and a lot of people were upset because David Hayter was Snake
Yeah.
to a lot of
and
people.
now he's got
You know who I
Norman
could
Reedus.
see being Snake? The guy from Walking Dead, Daryl from Walking Dead.
Oh,
What's his
that's-
name? He was in Death Stranding.
Norman
Norman
Reedus.
Reedus.
Oh, yeah.
Norman, yeah.
Well, him and Kojima are already buddies, so there's already one thing right
I
there.
could definitely see him being Snake.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
That would be actually really cool.
Yeah. 'Cause
Um,
he has that grizzled,
yeah,
Oh,
like
yeah.
the very gritty kind of character. Yeah.
he's very like strong and like he just has that
Yeah.
like persona.
Yes.
Be Raiden.
Hmm?
Raiden.
Oh, Raiden.
Ooh, that would be cool. I mean, well, I'm trying to think. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
That's a tough one. Let's go back to something else. Were there any kind of like video game film adaptations you were just straight up disappointed by?
I know you were saying, was it last week you were talking about Ratchet and Clank?
I was trying to lead so I could complain about the Ratchet and Clank.
I knew you were going to bring that up.
completely misses the point of the characters from the original game. Like
Yeah.
Ratchet, he's like a really nice guy in like the later games because he's already had his character arc. Because in the first game, he's a total jerk. He doesn't actually give a crap about like the villain's plot or whatever. He only starts caring after the one guy, Captain Cork, tries to kill him. So then it becomes a revenge quest for him. And then over time, he starts to actually see the bigger picture. And then in the movie, he's just this wide-eyed dreamer who just wants to be saving people or whatever. And it's like, that is not what his story was in the first game.
Yeah, that doesn't really fit his character.
Him and Clank didn't even get along for most of that game until the very end. It's like,
Yeah.
Yep.
and the humor, Ratchet and Clank has like a dark sense of humor. Like
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
love the humor
Yeah.
in this
there's like a
games.
lot of like dark humor with characters just getting killed or blown up.
Yeah.
And then I was watching this scene from the movie where it's like the villain is given some monologue, and then this guy's gets a phone call, and he gets mad at the guy's like, Stanley, are you texting? Sends in his henchman. And now, if it was the games, you know what the henchman would do? Would shoot his laser at the guy, and he would just turn into a pile of ash, killed. But then instead, to be intimidating, the guy just eats his cell phone, which is not nearly as funny. It's like,
Yeah.
that's not really intimidating.
No,
You got-
it's
he's a villain. He's a cartoon villain. Let him kill his henchmen. Just kill them.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, a big part of these games is that you get a bunch of wacky guns to blow stuff up with. So stop straying away from the killing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You got a PG rating. You get a lot more than a G. So stop acting like a G.
Honestly, I kind of wish they pushed that movie to PG-13, even though I know.
Yeah, well, the original game was
It's
rated T for teen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would make sense because there is a lot of violence in those games. And
Yeah.
I think they just want more
And
like
they
a
have-
younger
They
audience.
want a bigger audience.
Yeah.
And they have a bit of crude humor to them. There's a running gag about a device called the personal crotchetizer.
Yeah.
The games have like a dirty innuendos. Ratchet and Clank.
Oh,
Go-
there's a lot
going
of...
commando. Up your arsenal.
Yeah.
Full frontal assault.
Yeah.
Size
there's,
matters.
There's a lot of sexual innuendos in this game.
The game Crack in Time was originally supposed to be clock blockers.
Really?
Yeah, when they got to the PS3 area, they kind of told them to tone it down with the naming scheme.
That
which-
would have been hilarious
There's-
if they came out of
There's a
game
4-player
called-
co-op game
Clock
that they wanted to
Blockers.
call Foursome
Oh my god.
or Four-Way.
Wow.
Oh, you know what I just realized? I was thinking of, like with the innuendos and stuff like that, and I immediately thought I completely forgot about it. But the South Park games. Have you guys
Oh
played
yeah,
the
those
South?
are great.
I haven't
I
played them.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
I
because
forgot.
I was thinking that, and then I was like, wait, the second South Park game was the Fractured Butthole.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I played a little bit of the second one. It just wasn't like, I don't know.
Yeah, it was
I-
fun, but it felt like there wasn't as much heart in it.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of the Stick of Truth though. The Stick of Truth was so much fun. Just like the comedy in it was hilarious. Like I just liked the turn based like fighting.
The
like-
combat more in Fractured Butthole, but like, one scene for me was like when you collect junk in the Stick of Truth,
Mm-hmm.
you can view that junk, like you can see a picture of it because it's like they're all homages to episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
But then once you collect it in Fractured Butthole, if you look at your list of inventory, there's no picture of the item. It's just all the same icon to represent it being junk, which is like, well,
Yeah,
that's a downgrade. That's a
yeah,
straight up
it's-
downgrade.
yeah.
Why would you do that for the sequel?
No, I
Do
know.
you guys know if the South Park creators had a lot of say into those games?
Oh,
Because
they
they
absolutely
had the
like it
voices.
because
I
it's the
think-
same humor. Like it's
I think
yeah,
they
were heavily involved. They did.
Okay.
Yeah.
They hated the original games like that N64 one,
Yeah.
PS1. They hated all those, so that's why they were much more involved with the making of the.
I was gonna say that has to be the South Park creators
Because-
because it's so
No,
built
like
into the show.
I think the whole story is written by was it Matt
Trevor-
Stone and Trey Parker?
Trey Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think they wrote the whole story. Obviously, did all the voices.
and the whole game looks like an episode of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, same exact
That's
animation.
one of the reasons I'm iffy about the new game, South Park Snow Day.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
They
3D
change up the.
I know they changed the developer.
They're
I
3D
think.
graphic. It's like a 3D game
Oh, it's
now.
3D.
Yeah,
So
I'm not a
it's
fan
kinda
of
weird.
it.
It's
I
a,
can't see South Park being.
the
3D.
animation style is inherently two-dimensional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Dom. What were you saying?
I think they changed the developer for this third game, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
why I want to go in this different direction.
Gotcha.
That-
Who was the developer of the first two games?
THQ, I think.
I think it was
Yeah.
THQ. Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, I just remember like I don't know, like just the first game. Well, the Stick of Truth for like at least. I just like the everything was just so much fun in that game. Like because like you would interact with every character and it was just always hilarious. Like and then they had like so many references to episodes.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I would say it's a fantastic game.
It also had a nostalgic feeling of like when you're playing all these pretend games with your friends that are so much more intense.
Yes,
Mm.
yes.
And then the second game struck a particular chord with me. Like this like hit me very deep.
Mm-hmm.
When you just show up one day and then all your friends are like, oh yeah, we're playing a different game now.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. In the first game you played, everyone else got to be cool right away. You were just like some lowly loser and they made you work your way up to be cool.
Exactly.
And then one day they just said, yeah, we changed games. You're a bitch again.
Yeah, like no, I
That
agree.
was like,
Yeah.
that happened to me all the time on the playground and it made me like
yeah.
so upset. Like,
You're like, oh, we're playing a new game.
why
Like,
do you
that's
get to
good.
be a Jedi right away? Why do I
Yeah.
have to keep being a Padawan?
yeah. No, it does actually kind of bring that like nostalgic feeling. Like,
It really
very,
does.
yeah.
You know what other game brings a nostalgic feeling?
What's up?
The Simpsons Hit and Run. Which
Oh, dude, I love that
Yes.
game.
I played
adult
that.
cartoon adapted
God,
to.
I had fun with that game. I remember getting mad at it a lot though.
Oh, it's infuriating, but
Yeah.
it's so much fun.
It's
like
fun
a,
to play when
It's,
you're not.
it's like GTA, but
it's-
Simpsons.
Yes,
Exactly.
It's fun to
essentially.
play
It's
when you're not
great.
playing a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
like,
if you're just like driving around,
all
hitting people and running away. Like,
all
Yeah.
missions though, like it's so frustrating because it's the same scene of just it's a car chase every time.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
essentially.
I never played that game for the missions. Honestly, I just played to roam around. And
Oh, me too.
hit
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and explore. I did.
So-
I never actually watched a lot of Simpsons when I played it. I've watched most of Classic now, so I think I'd appreciate it more if I played it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, now that you've gone back and watched The Simpsons,
Yeah.
That you catch all those references
Yeah,
in
there's
the
a
game.
lot of references in that.
Yeah, I never really watched The Simpsons. I mean, like I'll watch it like when it's on. Like usually after like Sunday football, like they'll put on The Simpsons right away. But I don't know. It was never a show for me that I.
I
For
played The
me, it was like a
Simpsons.
show I grew up watching with my parents,
Mhm.
which they probably shouldn't have let me watch The Simpsons as young as they did, or as young as I was when they let me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was always like that's why it has that nostalgia factor for me. Like
Right,
I grew
right.
up watching it.
I
and
wasn't
then
allowed to watch
playing
the
the
show,
game.
but I was allowed to watch the movie for some reason.
Really?
I
I think what happened was my mom was taking my brother, me, and my brother's friend to see Alvin and the Chipmunks, but that showing all the tickets were sold out. So to make it up for us, she got us a DVD of Simpsons from Target.
it's funny you say that because I totally forgot that. So years and years ago, when the Simpsons movie first came out, my family really wanted to see it, but my sister, she was like maybe like 2 or 3 years old, or like I don't know. She was sensible enough to the point where she could watch a movie, but we were like, oh well, we can't bring her along because she's too young. But they're like, it'll be fine. And that was my sister's first movie she ever watched in the theater was the Simpsons movie, which I find so
That's
funny.
The one where you see, we gotta keep this podcast PG.
yeah. But yeah, I just you saying that like you watched it at a very young age.
Good times.
Yeah, exactly. So much nostalgia.
I remember there's that bit with Arnold Schwarzenegger as president, which that bugs me because they have Rainier Wolfcastle, who's their in-universe version of Arnold. So does that mean you just have there's two buff Austrian men in the South Park?
I guess,
Like,
yeah.
just make them Rainier Wolfcastle. Most people aren't gonna read the name plaque. They're just gonna see Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're gonna get the joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys see a Family Guy adaptation? Speaking of like all these cartoons.
Well, Fortnite kind of
Oh yeah.
with
Right.
Peter Griffin and
Didn't they make him
Fortnite.
buff for some reason?
Yeah, because well, if they, I don't know if this is true or not, but they made him buff because if they did his like normal, body
His
proportions,
hitbox would be too
his hitbox would be too big. So
lame.
yeah, so they were like, all right, we'll make him buff. So
Speaking of Peter Griffin and games, I was just over at my buddy's house and he was playing some WWE game. I don't even know. I guess it was like a newer one. And he bought like an expansion pack of like all these different characters, and one of them was Peter Griffin.
really,
And it's just hilarious seeing Peter Griffin in the ring. Like he had Peter Griffin against like SpongeBob or Patrick, I think it was. And I thought it was great. Like it's so funny to watch.
I used to watch a streamer. He would play one of the WWE games, but he would create characters.
Yeah.
Because like you can make a character look however they want, and like basically like one for one, like their customization was so great.
Oh yeah.
So he would do a Royal Rumble and just see who comes out on top. It'd just be like crazy characters like Peter Griffin. I'm trying to think like some like celebrities. I think one was actually funny that we talked about. It was Johnny Depp or like Captain Jack. But
I feel
yes,
like I've seen like Steve Harvey or something like
yes,
that.
it's Steve Harvey. Yeah, people get real creative.
I watched the Dead Meat podcast, and one of the things they do is the horror WrestleMania, where they take a bunch of horror movie characters and remake them in WWE,
I love that.
and then just have them all set them to the CPU to duke it out in the ring.
So it'd be like Jason, and
Yeah.
Mike Myers,
Mike
and, like, all those
Myers,
guys.
Yeah, or like sometimes
Freddy
it's not.
Krueger.
Sometimes it's not the killer. Sometimes it's like other characters, like Nancy Thompson from Elm Street.
Oh, nice.
I think they had Brenda from Scary Movie.
Sweet. That sounds cool. I'll have to check that.
Yeah,
Yeah, send me that episode.
Yeah. What's next? Well,
So one game that surprised me, I'd say, that was actually a movie to game adaptation is Mad Max. Did any of you guys play that?
I played it.
I loved that game. I thought it was really I don't know if you liked it, but I pre-ordered that game. I think I was like 14 when it came out. I remember pre-ordering it and like staying up and like downloading it at midnight and like playing it right away.
I liked how it's kind of a prequel to Fury Road.
Yeah. The story's pretty good in it, but like the gameplay is so addicting. The combat, like the melee
It's
combat,
good combat.
so good. It's almost, I'd say it's better than like the Arkham games. It has like a
Maybe.
similar feeling to them,
I
but
thought-
I like it even better on them. And then not even just the melee combat, the car combat
Yeah.
is so good because you can customize your
The Magnum Opus.
Magnum Opus, yeah,
that's cool.
and yeah, it's some of the best car customization.
I like the harpoons you can throw at other cars.
Yeah. And as far as like your upgrade path, there's so much different stuff you can do with both your character, Max, and then also your car, and then your weapons. Like there's so much upgradability in that game. It's addicting, really.
I like the seeing how you can see gas towns throughout the whole game. Like you can just see the big silos and the flames in the distance
Yeah.
throughout the whole game. So it's so cool when you then finally get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the atmosphere in that game too, like the environment, like there's sandstorms that you get stuck in sometimes, and then like there's like these like tribes of people, like
Oh yeah.
these crazy people that come attack you. Like it's
Gotta be honest, I thought the gameplay it suffered from a similar problem as the original Assassin's Creed for me, where it had a very good framework of gameplay. Like combat's fun, the main exploration is fun, but it's like all the objectives are kind of the same thing.
as far as like capturing like the camps and stuff,
Yeah,
and
like-
overtaking the camps.
Yeah.
I felt like a little.
I mean, yeah, after you beat the story, there's not a ton to do.
Yeah, and the story doesn't take. A lot of the story bits are really stretched apart from each other, so it doesn't feel like you're progressing too much. It's like you play for a few hours, then you get a story cutscene, go to the next area for a story cutscene, play for a few hours. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I I still really liked it just because like it's one of those games where you can grind out and like it's really like what's the word for it? Like it's rewarding once you upgrade your character all the way and once you upgrade your car all the way. Like just because you're so overpowered at that point, it makes it a lot of fun to go and just wreak havoc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does sound cool. I mean, I've only watched the movie. Yeah. I never played the game.
So yeah, if you like the Mad Max movies,
I'd have to check that out.
Definitely see Fury Road before you play the game.
Yeah. Well, see Fury Road because it kind of is a prequel to that, like Justin was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like there's some references to some of the old Mad Max movies too.
Oh, so. Okay. Yeah, I've watched. Fury Road is the newest movie adaptation.
Have you guys watched the Mel Gibson ones?
Yeah, I watched all of them.
No,
I watched all of them.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I like them. They're pretty good movies.
I think Fury Road is the best one just because they had the budget and time to make like what you expect to hear when you hear about what Mad Max is about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no shade to the original movies because they did a lot with what they had.
Well, they were pretty low budget, like Australian movies.
The first movie especially,
Yeah.
There's a scene where the main villain gets run over by a truck.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the truck didn't want his truck being messed up, so they just took a big piece of plywood and just painted the exterior of the front of a truck on. Like, if you go back and watch it, it's just a piece of plywood with, like, a truck painted on it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to keep in mind, like, it was such a low-budget movie. They had to do stuff like that.
It was, like... He wasn't, like, a filmmaker before that. That was, like, his first movie, too.
What was the director? I forget.
George Miller.
George Miller, that's right.
He got the idea because he was an ER doctor, so the inspiration was all the different ways he saw people messed up from car crashes.
Interesting. That was probably Mel Gibson's first big role, too.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And then he went on to do some really bad stuff. But
yeah.
It is what it is. It's how usually the Hollywood industry goes.
That's right.
But, yeah.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about Uncharted, the movie.
Yes.
And one thing I wanted to say that I didn't love about the movie was the games had these huge, big action like set pieces, like that just went on and on, like a tower falling, and you're like running throughout the tower, like shooting people and all that, or like you're like climbing up this train on the side of a cliff. Like it had these huge, big action set pieces. The movie didn't.
No, I agree. The only thing I can think of is like when they're, when they find what ship were they finding? Or they were trying to find in the movie?
Was it Sir Francis's ship?
It might have been. Yeah,
I forget the name of it. But,
the only action, like the only like crazy like cinematic like I guess like event in that movie was I think the end when they're pulling the ship out of the cave. But yeah, no, I agree. Other than that, like there wasn't anything crazy. It was just normal, like just action. Like, you didn't have anything like a giant tower falling that you're running through.
Yeah. And obviously, like that's a lot easier to put in a game than a movie. With a movie, you need a huge budget to do.
That's true.
Huge action
set
pieces like that. But still, I would have liked to see at least one or two like huge, like big budget, like explosions. Or there were explosions, but like bigger than that. Like
just more. Yeah. Overall, the movie, like I mean,
I didn't hate the movie. I'm just.
I didn't hate it. It was entertaining, but definitely not up there for one of my favorite movies for sure. But
definitely casting could have been better. Don't get me wrong. I like Tom Holland. I like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I think the casting could have been better.
I think so too.
And like I was saying, it could have had bigger action scenes in it. Also, there wasn't as much. So in the Uncharted games, there's a lot of like puzzles you have to solve and stuff like that. There wasn't as much of that like mystery, like puzzle aspect to the movie.
It kind of seemed like they had the answers the entire time. I mean, there was a little, if I recall, there was like a little puzzle. I think it was like finding the exact location of the ship. I keep forgetting what the ship's called, but but they solved it in like 5 minutes. It was like just like a quick 5 minute scene, and I'm like, oh well, that's not, that doesn't add up to what I did in Uncharted, like the games where I'm spending like 20 minutes trying to figure out a puzzle.
The ship's called the Sea Ward.
The Sea Ward. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was definitely it was an entertaining movie. I wouldn't say it was like fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was
but,
okay.
like,
it was a movie I'd see once and was like, okay, I'm happy with.
Yeah, I don't need to see it again. Yeah, no, that's how I feel.
Any other adaptations, either film to game or game to movie, you guys can think of?
I mean, the only one, like, I mean, I already mentioned, but like the only one that's on my mind right now is Borderlands because I'm obsessed with Borderlands.
I'll have to check out that trailer.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm just disappointed by the casting. I mean, I feel like adaptations it's a hit or miss with the casting. You know, it could either be really good or it could be awful, and this one is definitely awful.
Yeah.
I don't know, like I'm just disappointed because like they're ruining the game that I love. You know, like I love this game.
At that
It's
point,
like
don't watch it because then
I know, but like I'm gonna watch it just to
you almost have to.
I know because like I've played all the games. I put countless hours in all the games. Like it's my favorite like looter shooter like series. But yeah, I am definitely disappointed.
What about games that you guys would like to see adapted to movies or television, or vice versa?
Well, I know we said
movies or
Metal
TV?
Gear's one.
I'd like Shovel Knight to have like a cartoon or something. That'd be really fun.
What?
Shovel Knight?
Oh, like a cartoon? That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and that reminds me, they made what's it called? The Cuphead. They made that a show,
I heard
didn't
that was
they?
pretty
I heard
good.
that.
Show?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they made it a show. I think it's on Netflix. I haven't heard many things about it.
That
though.
game is so hard.
It is. Like I'll play games like Dark Souls and all that, like those games, like, and they're hard. But oh my gosh, Cuphead! I want to like actually
It's
throw my
probably
controller.
one of the hardest like platformer games.
100%. It might be the hardest platformer game.
Like
Like
it's definitely harder than Crash Bandicoot, which is
Yep.
also pretty hard. But
yeah.
It's a hard game. Oddworld Abe's Odyssey.
I haven't played it.
What is that? I've never. Heard
It's like set on this alien planet where you're this member of a species called Mudokons named Abe, and you're all sort of enslaved as factory workers.
Huh.
And like at a meat processing facility, and you discover by accident that the next big product, because company profits are down, is that they're gonna grind Mudokons up. So you have to escape from the factory while also helping your buddies escape.
Okay.
Then you have to go on this sort of spiritual journey as you discover that your people are like the enslaved, you and all your friends who were enslaved come from this larger tribe who are like very spiritual.
Yeah.
So you have to go to these two palaces again, like on a sort of spiritual quest to gain these two gifts. So then you can go back to the factory you escaped from to save everyone else and destroy it. And it's a very
that
hard.
would make a really
What
good
console or like is it?
It was on PlayStation 1. You can get it on Steam.
Oh, so it's an older game.
Older
I didn't-
game.
You can get it on Steam for like $3.
Oh really?
Or there's a remake for $20. That's pretty good. But I feel like some of the grimy aesthetic is kind of lost.
I don't really play on PC much.
The
So I
remake-
wonder if there's like, is there a remake for like PS4, PS5?
Yeah, it's Oddworld, new and tasty.
Okay. Cool.
But the PS1 version, which I played first, that gets like nail-bitingly hard because there's so few checkpoints, and you are just completely vulnerable to everything. It's one-hit kills everywhere. Like
Oh yeah.
most of the scenes on screen were trying to kill you. Checkpoints are sparse. Like I got so mad with that game, but I felt so satisfied when I finally beat it.
Yeah. Speaking of like hard games, have any of you guys played Elden Ring?
Oh yeah, I'm playing Elden Ring right
haven't.
now.
Oh, are you actually?
Like some of the older like Final Fantasy games.
Okay.
Elden Ring
Yeah.
has made me throw my controller.
Well, I was just gonna say only because I just saw it the other day. They're making
The DLC.
the DLC finally, which I've been waiting for. And they said the map, which I'm really excited. It's gonna be, like basically the same size, if not larger than what Limgrave already is.
Limgrave is most of the map, isn't it?
Yes.
So they're basically making a sequel.
Yes. For a DLC. Yes, as a DLC. So I'm stoked because I haven't played the game since it came out, and I loved it.
Dude, FromSoft sounds like such an awesome company.
No, they are because like they actually pump out finished games, which a lot of companies suck at doing now. They promise a game and they never live up to expectations.
And they don't.
One of the best studios as far as pumping out like consistently finished good games,
Yeah.
I think is Insomniac Games.
Yes.
No, yeah.
Speaking of adaptations, Spider-Man. We didn't talk about that.
Spider-Man's really good. That's like a good,
Spider-Man games are really good.
it's a better
Yes.
successor to the Arkham games than the actual one with Suicide Squad, I think.
Oh yeah, the Spider-Man games are way better than
I've-
Suicide Squad.
I haven't played the second one yet. I've heard well, I mean,
Second one's really good.
didn't it get like for the Game Awards? It got like nominated like 10 different awards, and it
I
didn't.
believe
It
I don't
won
think it
any.
got anything. I don't think
And
it
it
got
did.
anything.
Yeah, it didn't win a single one though.
I'm nervous though because Insomniac, because they're also making the Wolverine game now. Apparently they're
Right.
gonna make a Venom game. That might have been a leak. And supposedly the next Ratchet and Clank game would come out in 2029, which again I'm just nervous about because I like Ratchet and Clank. And
Yeah, me too. I hope they just don't go the route of doing all Marvel stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
If they do make like Ratchet and Clank is like
That's
they're
their-
amazing. That's their like bread and butter.
Yeah.
You know.
Unfortunately, like that's just the gaming industry now. Like
Whatever sells the most.
That's what they're gonna put out.
Hey,
like
at least they didn't get bought by EA.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We can just only hope they will never get bought out.
I don't want.
That'd be terrible. Or Activision. Or,
I haven't.
God.
What's like the last good like EA game that's been put out there?
I can't even.
Like I can't like because I swear every EA game is like unfinished or it's just
Every EA
not.
sports game is the same game.
It's the same. Yes. That's
I
why.
used to play Madden when I was like young. Like I would play like on like the last Madden game, for instance, I played was probably on PS3.
Oh, you guys
So
remember?
it's just same thing.
It's-
every
it's-
You guys remember when they remade Pro Skaters 1 and 2? Like
Yes.
as a company?
Yeah.
Then it was
Oh, yeah.
really successful. Everyone loved it, and then they shut down the studio before they could make 3 and 4 remakes.
Yeah,
Oh,
why
really?
would they do that?
It's like you have a great opportunity for money right there. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then they
There
made
had to be
Pro
some
Skater,
reason behind
and
it.
then they also made Pro Skater 5, which was an abomination.
Wait,
Yeah.
what was the company that did the remakes? Was it the same company that did the old games?
I don't
Like
think so.
Neversoft, I think
I
it
think
is.
Neversoft is defunct.
Okay.
What about the skate games? You guys ever play those?
Yeah.
Oh, I
No.
love the skate
Yeah.
games. Yeah.
Those are so much fun.
I played 2 and 3. I never. I tried the first one. I was like, it's
Three's definitely my favorite.
3 is the best. Oh, it's so good.
I've honestly only played Pro Skater 3 for skating games.
Pro skate. Yeah.
What about the Tony Hawk games? You never played those?
Pro skater.
oh, is
Yeah,
that
Tony
what
Hawk.
that is?
Yeah, Tony
yeah,
Hawk
Pro
Pro
Skater.
skater.
why didn't I even? I didn't even
I
realize
just
that.
assumed you knew it. Pro Skater is short for Tony Hawk's Pro
Yeah.
Skater.
Okay. Okay.
But
I
yeah,
didn't realize that.
skate. I mean, I'm sure you probably know this. They're making a 4th one,
Yeah.
but I think they're just gonna call it skate.
Mhm.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, they've been developing it for the past few years. It's supposed to be like, I think it's going to be free to play too, which is huge because
that's a
Is it
bad
gonna be?
that's a bad
on-
omen
like,
for me.
really,
Is
I
it
mean,
gonna be like online, like live service? If it's free to play,
it is
it's-
online.
okay.
Yeah, it'll be online.
That's an omen for me. Free to play means they're gonna charge you up the butt for other stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean,
In
I'm
most
sure.
cases, yeah.
I'm sure they'll probably do like, oh, here's a bunch of cosmetics
Here's
that'll
a-
cost
There's
15,
some new
20 bucks.
courses, those will cost you money to get to, blah blah blah, and it's just like,
Yeah,
and they're disassociating from the first 3 games. So
yeah. But the thing is, it's like with
Don't
a
get me
game.
wrong, I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Especially
it'll be free to play. I mean, the thing is, it's like with a free to play game, especially a game like Skate, where it's like you literally you could play that game mindlessly. Like you could literally just drop in,
oh yeah, like,
just skate around, So that's why I'm like not too worried that it's gonna be a free to play, because like it's just a game you could just pick up and just be like, I feel like just skating around for a little bit.
That's another thing that's missing from games. Like gaming today is those games you can just pick up and play for a few minutes to like pass the time. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I've got like half an hour, I'm not gonna pick up Elden Ring or GTA, but I
I'm
might
the
pick
same
up.
way.
I might pick up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater though. I can play
That's how
that.
I am. Yeah.
I had like a half hour before I had to catch my bus today, so I just plugged in the PS2, played some Pro Skater 3 because
Nice.
I can just pick that game up and play it.
I know.
Of course.
Do you guys
For
play?
me, that game? Like a game I could just pick up and play. I would just do like Call of Duty, like a couple
Yeah.
like Team Deathmatch.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah, it's just-
GTA a bit too. Like
Yeah,
'cause you can
depending on
just
what you're
drop
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not playing a mission, you're just driving around causing havoc.
Do you guys play like MOBAs at all?
No.
No.
What is
I-
that?
I forget the exact like term. Like it's an acronym. It's
Do you mean stuff like?
I think it's massive or multiplayer
stuff
online
like
battle arena.
Do you mean stuff like Raid Shadow Legends?
Like Warzone type
No,
games, or-
like have you heard of like League of Legends and
Yeah.
Smite? Or
Oh yeah.
what? Heroes of the Storm. Trying to think. Dota. Well, I play Smite, which is a pretty big one.
I've
And
heard
they're,
of Smite. Yeah.
they're coming out with a second one, which I'm really hyped for. But that is a game you cannot pick up, just pick up and just be like, oh, I'm gonna play for a few minutes. Because when you get in a game, like the game could either go for 10 minutes, or it could go for like an hour. Like you never know. But
Well,
like,
especially if you're like playing with your friends or something too.
oh, that too. That makes it worse because then they're like, oh, one more game, one
Yeah,
more
yeah.
game, and I'm like, no, I need to get out of here. But yeah, no, they really don't have too many like just games you could quickly pick up now. And just
I
like,
mean, like besides like mobile games, but I'm not a big
mobile gamer either.
Games.
Yeah. Sure. Sometimes like I'll download one like just to like pass the time real quick, but like I end up just deleting it. I'm like, oh well, time's up. I'm like, I will probably never play this again. You know. Yeah.
Now, back in the day, don't get me wrong, I'd play some Temple Run or
Absolutely. Or
Subway
Subway Surfers.
Angry
Yeah. Dude.
Birds.
Oh, yeah.
Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when it was like the games are free, but then they released a $30 like version of them on the DS and stuff for like
Yeah,
30.
like why would you buy that?
Why would I pay so much like that much money for a game I can get on for free?
Yeah. Oh, what about Jetpack Joyride? You guys ever play that? That
Classic.
Was my
I
game.
love that. I love Jetpack Joyride.
Yeah.
I used to play that like on the bus, like going to school,
Same.
that in like middle school all the time.
That's so much fun.
Yeah.
Going back to adaptations though, because we definitely got a little off track.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to add?
I don't know. I feel like we covered a lot.
I liked the Yakuza movies they made. Well, it was kind of boring, but very entertaining in other places. You guys know Yakuza?
No. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I think you were telling me about it, but I'm
There's
not
a lot of those games. I have the Game Pass on Xbox, and I see that there's like 10 of them.
As of right now, there's 8 main series entries. Then there are, or 9 if you want to count, because there's sort of an in-between game that came out in October,
Yeah.
which is still focused on the main character. I guess you'd call that. So yeah, no, yeah, you're right. There's 10 main series entries. Then there are 2 spin-off games that reimagine them as historical figures in like feudal Japan.
Oh.
Then there's a spin-off game about zombies.
Huh.
Let's see. There's 2 PSP games about a different guy in the same area.
Now, what kind of games are they?
And then there's also the spin-off series called Judgment, which has 2 entries. So that's like 17 games.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's almost like they're putting out like 2 games a year. Like,
Now they're like maybe one game a year. Game a year. They've been going since like 2005. So.
but even still, I feel like if you're putting out a game a year, like I mean, like look at like Call of Duty for example. You know, like they always put out a game a year, but they have
And same with, like,
alternate.
Yeah,
with like the EA games,
Yeah.
like
Well,
we were just talking about, like
Yakuza
Madden
game-
and FIFA, like it's
Yakuza games also reuse the same maps a lot, but but it's like they're cool when they do it because that's a part of the series identity basically.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
And there's a lot to like explore every game anyway.
Yeah. What kind of game is it? Like I don't really know too much
It's
about.
kind of a beat 'em up and an RPG.
okay.
Okay.
Nice.
I could actually get down with that, honestly.
You know what game I think would be
You know what
kind
if-
of a cool movie?
What's that?
Like any of the Fallout games.
They're making the
Yeah.
Amazon
Oh, yeah.
show.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
are.
the
I forgot
Amazon.
about that. Yeah.
Is that out yet, or is that?
I don't
I
think
think it's
so.
still in.
They tell them in the
There's
spring.
a trailer out though.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I not know about that? What the heck? I need to watch.
I saw like a teaser trailer a few months back.
I want to add one more thing with Yakuza. I heard there's another movie adaptation they're working on, but it's funny. The original movie adaptation had something that they worked into the games later on, where the main character Kazuo Kiryu has this rival called Goro Majima, who they have like a sort of friendly rivalry, and he looks like for any opportunity he can to fight him. Throughout the movie, he's just kind of stalking him throughout the night, trying to find him to beat him up and kill him.
Yeah.
And then it's like the series creator saw the movie and he really loved that, so he worked this into the remake of the first game for PS4 called the Majima Everywhere system, where Majima feels like Kiryu has gone soft because he was in prison for 20 years. So he'll just find him on the street and challenge him to fight. So it's like at any moment when you're not walking around in the game, you'll come across a rival who wants to fight you.
Oh, that's actually kind of cool.
And then there's like a bunch of special events where he might fight you, where he invites you to a pole dance club, and then he reveals himself to be the one as a dancer before he tries to fight
That's
you.
funny.
He fakes an entire zombie apocalypse around the city, like he hires a bunch of people just to put on makeup and stuff, just so he can fight you as a zombie.
That's funny.
Sometimes there's a big traffic cone and you'll see it shuffling around, so you lift it up and he's hiding under
He's
it.
hiding on her.
One
We're
time you
fighting.
walk past a manhole, you'll cut to a cutscene where you see him lift the manhole up, and it's one of those scenes where some people find it really annoying, but I think it's really funny.
I think it's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds really funny.
That sounds cool.
Um,
Have you guys ever played Max Payne? The Max Payne games?
No.
Really? Oh.
I mean, I've seen gameplay of it,
The
but
gameplay in this was so much fun.
I heard they had
And
a bad Mark. I heard they had a bad movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Well, yeah, that's what brought it up. Is I just looked up some like video game adaptations. I had no idea they did Max Payne as a
Yeah.
movie with Mark Wahlberg.
I didn't know that either, especially with
And
Mark Wahlberg.
I could see it being terrible.
Yeah.
To be honest.
When did it come out?
Let's see, 2008.
Oh wow.
So it was a pretty early like video game adaptation.
Yeah.
The games weren't all. The games didn't come out that much before that. Like the first game came out in like 2006 or something.
Yeah, I think it was very early.
That's fast. Yeah.
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 So that's super fast. But yeah, I just realized they made a game and I was like, or they made a movie. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
The games were a lot of fun. They were Rockstar games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish they translated more of like the gunplay of the Max Payne series into Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, because the gunplay in Max Payne was so good. Max Payne 3 especially.
There's rumors that they might be doing something like that for GTA 6. Like,
That'd be awesome.
that would be
I mean,
fantastic.
with Michael in GTA 5, you could slow down time when you're shooting.
Yeah, that's true.
That is cool.
Which I didn't use that much, to be honest. I used it a lot in the first Red Dead game, Red Dead Redemption, where
Yeah.
you could slow down time when shooting.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a cool feature.
Yeah, definitely. Red Dead Redemption would make a good movie.
Yeah. Or a TV
Yeah.
show.
Oh
Or
my
TV
gosh.
show, yeah.
I think
yeah.
a show would be better just because it's so many different events happening.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
if HBO could pick up a Red Dead series,
Yeah.
that would be
Now that I
awesome.
think about it, yeah, that'd be fantastic. I'd watch that in a heartbeat, honestly.
Yeah.
Should they film? But here's a question: should they film the adaptation of 2 first, though, since 2 is a prequel?
Oh.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Who do you think would make a good Arthur Morgan?
Good. No, George Clooney wouldn't work. He's not.
He's too old at this point, I think.
I think they should find maybe they could get the guy who played him in the games, because I think a lot of times when they do
Yeah.
those,
Yeah.
the characters are modeled after the actor.
That's true.
He kind of does look like Arthur Morgan, the voice actor who plays him. So,
I think that's one of those things where they could get an unknown to do it pretty well.
yeah. And then John Marston, I think, going back to, I'm sorry, what was his name? The guy that plays Daryl from The Walking Dead? Norman
Reedus.
Norman Reedus. I think he would make a good John Marston.
He could. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. But, you guys got any?
Anna Taylor-Joy as Sadie Adler.
Oh, yeah,
That
I'd
would
like
be-
that.
Yeah.
Sadie was cool.
Yeah, Sadie was a really cool
I'm
character.
so mad that there's never Red Dead Redemption 2. Like they never did any single player DLC. But Sadie Adler's right there. There's a gap in time where she was leading the party,
Yeah.
while all the guys were like stuck in South America. Like that would have been a perfect.
It would be such a good DLC to
Yeah.
play as Sadie.
I know, she's so awesome.
Yeah,
That would be
she's
cool.
badass. Yeah. But yeah, you just brought up Anya Taylor. Going back to the Mario movie, something I think they did really cool, which we were talking about before we started the podcast, was kind of making Peach not the victim in the game and making her like a strong lead character.
Yeah.
Because usually in the games, you know, she's the one that needs saving from Mario. In
Right.
the movies, she's helping Mario save
Luigi.
Luigi.
Yeah. No, I did like
She's a
that.
strong character. I thought that was a cool angle.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got any other
I'm
adaptations?
seeing
Or
so many right now that I didn't realize were things.
Like what? Tomb Raider with Angelina Jolie.
I forgot about Tomb Raider.
I totally forgot about that. And then there's Silent Hill.
I mean, I think it's surprising when you see these because they actually have like
Resident Evil. I didn't know that.
Daniel
like-
watch those Resident Evil movies.
there's like 6 of those
no.
movies.
Nah, I
never watched
didn't
those
watch them
movies.
either.
I think it's always just funny when you see all the big actors that some of these game movies have.
Yeah.
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 Sorry,
and
did I
then
interrupt you?
No.
Is Pokemon a movie?
There's
the
Detective
Pikachu.
They have a lot of.
Pokemon, the first movie.
The anime has like 20 movies, but the most of those are direct to video here in the U.S., but they were all theatrical in Japan.
Okay.
Mm.
Also, Detective Pikachu with Ryan Reynolds.
Right. I forgot about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Was that any good? Did anyone
It
watch
was
it?
okay.
Never
Okay.
watched it.
Yeah.
Oh, Doom's a movie. Forgot about that.
Wait, Doom's a movie? Really?
Yeah, with
yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson.
Really?
Yeah, but they never
You
go
know what?
to
I
hell-
love that.
They never go to hell in that movie, though.
It gets a whole 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it must be good.
It
Yeah.
must be
No, yeah, they're
fantastic.
just on Mars, and there's never like a portal to hell or anything.
Huh.
I mean,
I love Doom as a game, but I don't see it being a good movie.
No, because there's not too much story to it other than
Yeah.
they're just you're just killing demons.
And there's a story to it in like the reboot series. It's people say that in the game, in like the new games, it's that Doom guy doesn't care about the story. He just wants to kill demons. I interpret it as he broke like the speaker when Samuel Hayden's talking to him on the elevator. Not because he doesn't care about the story, but he doesn't care about what Samuel Hayden's justifications are. Because Doom guy has seen this happen plenty of times, where they open a portal to hell and nothing good comes of it. So he just doesn't care about the excuse Samuel Hayden has.
Right.
It's not that he wants to kill demons, it's that he's sick of this guy's crap. He would love it if there were no demons for him to kill,
Yeah.
which is why he's mad.
Well, maybe they could make a better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if they make that movie, they have to keep his helmet on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say
Oh,
that
have you guys? Sorry, keep going because I was gonna bring up something else.
a lot of people complain about the Halo show. Master Chief has his helmet off most of the time.
Yeah.
And they try and say, well, like, if he keeps his helmet on, you don't see his face, no one's going to be attached to the character.
Mhm.
If that was the case, this show wouldn't exist because no one would care about Master Chief enough for them to realize it would be a good idea to make a show.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I've,
and you can keep the helmet on and people will still care. Look at The Mandalorian. He barely takes his helmet off in that show and everyone loved him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Pedro
Yeah.
Pascal.
Yeah. And it's like, the helmet is just the iconic appearance
This is
of
the
Master
way.
Chief.
Exactly. Like it's iconic. You can't just remove that from the
Yeah,
show.
like when Carl Urban was making Dredd, the Judge Dredd movie,
Mhm.
Carl Urban had to fight for them to let him keep the helmet on for the whole movie because he's like, that's Judge Dredd. He always has the helmet
Yeah,
on.
that's the character.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Carl Urban. I'm not playing myself. I'm playing Judge Dredd. Let me be Judge Dredd.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I still need to watch?
What?
Gran Turismo.
Oh yeah.
I need
I
to
heard it
too.
was actually decent.
Yeah, I feel like it's
For an
weird to call
adaptation.
that a video game adaptation. It's definitely a video game adjacent though. It's a cool story.
Yeah. But I love that actor, the guy from Stranger Things, David Harbour.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think he's a really good actor.
Oh, he's a fantastic actor.
He is
So I
good.
can see it being good.
It's funny when you
And
said
I like the games too.
when you said Gran Turismo, I thought you said Gran Torino.
Gran
I
Turismo.
was like, that's all. I was like,
Clint
wait.
Eastwood movie.
Yeah, I was like, wait. I was like, they have a video game for Gran Torino.
Gran Torino is such a good film.
It is a good film.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it.
Watch it.
I
If you
highly
any
recommend it.
Clint Eastwood movies, but like, if you just like movies in general, watch it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, what-
We've been talking for an hour. Has
hour?
it really been an hour?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
flies.
Jeez, yeah.
And if
Should
you-
we should
I
we
think
wrap
should
things up
it
then?
Yeah, this
Wrap it
has
up,
been
yeah.
Palm Blisters,
Episode 3.
episode 3. Yeah, where we talked about adaptions and got off topic again because
Hey, that's
that's
just
just part of the fun.
that's a normal
At this point,
podcast.
it's just like a
Yeah.
key aspect of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll hopefully see you all next week.
Peace.
See
See
you.
you guys.